Well, that's looking pretty good. Except it's not showing. Okay, it's a little behind. All right. Okay, well, what happened now? There we go. Okay, well, this is Linda Harris. I'm doing a live hoof chat today. People will be zooming in here. Just a minute, I gotta mute this so I'm not listening to myself or watching myself. And then I'm gonna put this on the Facebook page. So as we let people get in here and stuff like that, if you are watching on the YouTube instead of joining in Zoom, there's a little bit of a delay, like 10-15 seconds. And as I'm setting up, you might want to forward this a little bit after we get it, after it's recorded, if you're watching it on a recording, because now I'm just setting things up. And so I don't like to edit videos and go through all that junk anymore. So it is what it is. You have to go past the initial startup point to get to where we're really talking about something. Okay, so now I'm going to get this again, you'll have to fast forward, figure out where we start the real deal. Okay. Okay, there we go. Got that. I guess I'm gonna put it on our other page too. So I have posted this on the mentor page, and I'll post it on the other page too. Let's see, and I'm going to post it on my main page, my personal page as well. While we're waiting for people to chime in here, let's see. All righty. Okay, now. Okay. Okay, so I am going to, it's been so long since I've done this, I can't remember how to do anything. Let's see, how do I screen share? I've forgotten how to do stuff. Well, hello, Marcia. Hello, Ann. The two Anns, got two Anns here today. Alexandra, hello. And hi. Sabine, am I pronouncing your name right? I can't hear you, your phone's off. Okay, and Tiffany, hi Tiffany. Let's see. Okay, screen share. Ah, it's right there in green, right in front of me. Trying to decide where I want to share. Used to be, you could you could just share and go everywhere with this thing, but you can't anymore. So I'll just put this on for now so you can look at it. We're going to go over understanding how to shape the toe to the foot and the different issues that you deal with in this regards. We'll probably go over some other things too, doing some hoof evaluations. But what I really wanted to talk about today was Amanda's horse. This horse has had an injury on its front foot. And so there's some things that you need to be aware of. And in dealing with the sole, like if you're looking at this picture right here now, at some point on the trim before this one here at 3/5/22, Amanda got brave and rasped the wall and the sole down. And this horse has quite a sole ridge. So I want you to understand that I want you to understand a couple things today. Number one, I want you to understand about the sole ridge and how this is a major part of the sole that you're dealing with is the convex sole ridge. Now, you're not going to hear about that anywhere else for the simple fact that the hoof care industry, the vets and the farriers and every other Tom, Dick, and Harry, okay, that's a saying from my day and time, Tom, Dick, and Harry, okay, meaning everybody, have been teaching the anatomy of the sole wrong for centuries. Okay, so if you don't even know the true anatomy of the sole and how the sole grows, how can you ever formulate a trimming and shoeing or whatever plan to properly take care of a horse's foot? Because if this horse has a sole ridge, see, their foot is not concave, people. It's not concave. Now, it can look concave and it can get concave if it's distorted. Okay. And there is a part of it that is concave, but their feet are not concave. And so I just want to scream every time I hear somebody saying, oh, look at the great concavity. I'm like, well, you're not supposed to have that concavity like that. Okay. To prove this fact, I'm going to show you an anatomically correct wild horse's foot here. Just a second here. Just keep looking at this picture while I go find it. Hold on. Stop here. Well, let me get this other thing up first on the sole. Yeah, I mean, if you're not correct in your anatomy, most of the teachings on the anatomy of the horse's foot come literally, and I'm not being sarcastic, I'm not being anyway, I'm just telling you historically that they come from the medieval ages and they have been passed on from one generation to the next by word of mouth. And in fact, it's so bad that when they talking about the experts, that's the vet schools, that's the farrier schools, that's whatever, when they teach you anatomy, when they talk about the sole and they talk about the lamina, they have to draw pictures. They can't take photographs and point it out. They're going to have to draw pictures so that they can make it look like they say it is. See, and I can prove all this in abundance, So again, what is the point of me telling you this? To diss them? No. And stuff, it's so that you understand that there is no way that you could form a proper trimming procedure so that you could develop the horse's foot and maintain the horse's foot the way the horse's foot was designed to be if you don't know the design, if you don't know the anatomy. See, and these horses' foot, it's obvious that you can rasp and trim these horses' feet into just about any shape possible. You know, one good example of that would be these Scotch feet that they put on these draft horses, where they purposely grow their feet into huge squares. See, you can depending on what you trim off, you can manipulate these feet, what you trim, what you leave, and this is going to have something to do today too with what I'm going to try and share with you about the toe and how you have to trim to maintain and keep the perfect shape of that toe. Anything that you let get deformed or distorted is not only going to affect that part, but it will affect the whole foot ultimately. Okay, so first we're going to look at the anatomy. I'm going to show you an illustration I made on the anatomy of the sole, and then I'm going to show you a wild horse's foot. You're going to see this foot is anatomically correct and that it's not concave. Okay, and I'm going to explain to you why horses' feet seem to be concave, or they absolutely can be concave if they are deformed. So just a second here. Gotta find the pictures I want. Let's see. Oh, well, see, I've got to remember where this picture is. I want to show you this first, just a second. New share. Okay. Now, on the group, we had somebody, I probably won't bring the picture up, but we had somebody that posted some pictures and they had some bar growth way up in here. Okay, and they were asking, is that normal or is that something I should take out or what? Well, it's not normal. It's something that can develop when you don't keep this cleaned up in here. It's a dead sole. Usually it's dead sole, because I'm going to tell you right now, the sole right here that grows along here, it can actually grow up and look just like bar wall when it's not bar wall. If you look at this foot right here, you see a crack right here and right here. That's where the bars end. This is just sole in this case that has grown up, and then it's gotten, instead of exfoliating, it just turned into a big clump. So anyway, that's not supposed to be there. And so what I want to show you while I had this up and while I found it, I got to remember, you know, I have all these different pictures and sometimes it's hard to remember what I put things under. I should know here, since it's sole, that I'm always trying to tell people. Okay, so you see right here that this horse was very congested right in here and that there was a lot of lumps and bumps and stuff left. Well, I want to show you what it did to the sole corium. Look here. See that? That's not supposed to be like that. That's supposed to be all look just like this right here. Okay, but when you have any kind of lump or bump or anything that shouldn't be laying, like even if right here, if the bar grows up and lays over the sole right here, it's not going to be clear. These are all sole corium papillae. They're like little tits that feed little tubes that are your sole tubules. And so this is all supposed to be open so that your sole can grow. Here's where your bar would be attached to here, bar lamina. Your bar grows up like this at kind of an angle. Now, if it grows too high, then it can lay over the sole. If it lays over the sole, it chokes the sole out so that the sole won't grow in that area. And so then when you go to correct it, let's say you come in there with the knife and you start lifting the bar that's grown way over up here, you start lifting the bar off of that. A lot of times you're going to find underneath that the sole is going to be thin. Or also you can lift it off and you're going to find dirt under there. So anyway, so, and as you see, I told you the bar ends right here. See the crack? Okay, look where the lamina ends right here. You see these lines right here? This is the heel going around this way. Right here's where your heel buttress wall would be, and this is where your bar would be. Here's your sole platform in the heel with the sole tubules, or not the tubules, the sole papillae, hope I'm saying that right, that feed the little tubes that comprise your sole. Okay, and so if you don't clean this up, and I'll show you a picture of a good clean sole here in a minute. If you don't clean it up and it gets all congestion, look what it's done to this foot. See how it's damaged the sole corium? And so if you were to come in here and clean this up, yeah, this horse might be sore for a few days. Okay, because what's going to happen, it's going to restore blood flow to this area of the foot where it's cutting it off. And things are going to come back and the sole's going to start growing. Plus, it's the sole under there is going to be thin because it wasn't allowed to grow and renew itself. Every single thing on these feet on the capsule should be growing and renewing. And because it also, you got different parts, okay, because it's also constantly growing, it's easy for things to get out of their boundaries and start infringing on other areas of the foot.
Linda?
Yeah, what?
I have a question for you.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to interrupt you, but
oh, that's all right. Go right ahead.
So that my horse did that, right? Those
Yeah.
I had that extended kind of looking bar stuff there.
Okay.
And so what causes that? Because that, like, I trimmed him about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. That was gone, and it's like right back there. So what causes that to grow there if they don't really need that, or if it shouldn't be there? What causes that to grow like that?
Well, I have no idea. You know, other than for a period of time, it just wasn't trimmed out correctly. You know, and stuff. And yeah, it can wind up coming back. And then they say, oh, well, it must need to be there. Well, no, look, see, you see that there? Let me show you a good foot and stuff. And it may come back. Well, you know, that's because look at the corium there. The corium is damaged. So whatever's going to be growing from that until that gets healthier and healed probably isn't going to be quite correct. See, you would have to kind of keep it going and kind of keep smoothing it up and trimming it up until that corium underneath healed so that it was growing all that properly.
Okay.
So let me show you a picture of a healthy foot. Just a minute here. Okay. Just a second. We'll put this side by side. Oh, I wonder if I can even put it side by side. This thing doesn't let me share the way I want to share. Okay, just a second here. I'll take a picture of it. Just a second. Okay, new share. Okay. Now on these pictures, I can only share one picture at a time. I can't share full screen. So then if I want to compare something, I have to put two pictures together, take a picture of the two pictures, and then switch the screens for you. Okay. Okay. So this is a healthy foot right here. I want you to see, just a minute. Let me save it and open it up so I can, we'll do this. Soul, what are we going to name you? Soul Anatomy 10. Okay, and then I'm going to open that up in a different deal here. So hold on. Screen share again. We'll just put it on this for now. Hold on. Let me get the picture. Hopefully, I'll get the picture before I forget what I'm talking about. Let's see, LMNOPQRS. So, okay, so 8, 9, 10. Okay, now new share. New share, new share. There we go. Okay. Okay, so let me make this bigger. I'm gonna get rid of that. All right, so this is a healthy foot. It didn't have any problems. Let me see if I can get the what the capsule looked like up there too, just so you know, and show you that real quick. Oh, just a minute. Hold on a second. Well, that was my husband informing me how much it costs to put half a tank of gas in 3 vehicles. And it was a lot. Okay, so I'm going to show you this here, just to here. Okay. Okay, so this foot here, you see how there's no damage to the sole corium here on the foot, and you see what it looks like here. Now you see a little cracking because the sole was growing on this foot and exfoliating the way it should. But you see how there's no big lumps in here? Okay, I would assume that if your horse keeps developing those lumps, it's because the sole corium is not healed and it's kind of pushed and mushed around and it's producing that, but it's not something they're supposed to produce. Okay, it's just like if you get a really big callus, how it damages, it can damage the flesh underneath that grows the skin, and so you got to remove that callus, and then you've got to kind of keep that clear and let the skin heal, right? Well, it's the same here. This all has to heal. And also, another thing that happens is because the whole back of this foot is cartilage and fat, well, if everything gets pushed up this way, okay, it can kind of alter the way things grow as well. So let me go back to this other picture. Okay, this is the same foot that I just showed you, but it was fresher. That is the same foot. Okay, so now you look at this. There's your sole papillae that feed the little tubules of your sole. Okay, now look at this one. See what it does, how it damaged it? So it's just not going to be perfect and grow perfect overnight. Okay, now I'm going to show you my horse. Because see, I didn't know about this stuff. My horse would develop stuff like this. And I was like, should it be there? Should it not be there? And so what I did was I just started looking at this foot and figuring out how should that capsule grow from there, and what should be there and what shouldn't be there. And one thing that helped me also was in looking at this. Just a minute, I'll show you this. Now, was I showing the right picture here? Just a minute here. New share. Yeah, okay. I was on that picture there. All right. One thing that helped me too, studying this one particular wild horse foot, along with, this is an internal foot of a domestic horse, that had good feet, didn't have any problems. I showed you that. let's see here. Forgot where I was going. Just a second here. Oh, wild horse. Okay. Da, 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 da. Just a second. Okay. Pictures. There we go. Pictures. Got to move some stuff around. Too many windows open. Okay. Just a second here. Okay. Okay. We're going to look at this foot. This is a 3-year-old wild mare that was in a perfect surroundings. This mare was found dead in a cattle guard in the winter, so her feet were relatively preserved. Another thing was she had not totally worn out her heels, and she was in country where she got a lot of movement, and yet there was some moisture. It wasn't totally dry, so really she had the best environment to produce really good feet. And so first that I want you to see here, that does not look real concave, right? I mean, you see some concavity kind of right here starting, but this is what I want you to see right around here is this sole ridge, convex sole ridge. Who can explain to me what convex means? Anybody? Anybody out there? I have 11 people here. Can somebody tell me what convex means? I hope you're hearing me.
It's curving out.
Curving out. Good. Thank you. Curving out. But what do we hear? We hear always that the horse's foot is supposed to be concave, right? Okay, so if you're taught that the foot is supposed to be concave, that's the normal anatomy, and you're called out to trim this horse here, and you find this curving out sole, what are you going to think? Can anybody tell me what somebody might think when they saw that?
Maybe founder?
Yeah, I might think that, right?
But it has to be removed?
Yeah, that's a good one. That's exactly right, that it has to be removed. And that is exactly what they think, that it has to be removed. It has to be removed and be made to look concave. And so that's what farriers are trained to do. But guess what? This is what the foot is supposed to look like. What you see right here, see that? Curving out, doesn't it? See? That's not concave right here. It's a little flat. Oh my, it's flat. People go, well, my horse's foot went flat. Well, depending on kind of what's going on with your foot, that's not necessarily a bad thing. See, if you're always looking for concavity, because one thing that happens is when the heels are trimmed out and when the whole back of the foot is pulled this way, everything in front of it right here gets pushed forward and up like this, and it can produce a false concavity like that. Let's look at these pictures here. Kind of hard to see, but these feet are not concave, not at all. And let's look at some more here. Okay. Here's that foot again. Here's the sole. This is a convex sole ridge. You see this ridge right here? Convex. Okay. Okay. That's what this is. Goes around the whole perimeter of the foot. Now it turns concave right about here. You see where my little hand is there? My mouse. Right here is directly under the coffin bone. There it turns concave. So the sole is both concave starting right here and convex right here. But if things work out right, this area right here that kind of looks concave, it will mostly fill in a lot of times to where it may not look like it has any concavity at all. So, but this is what you're going to have under the foot of that horse. See there, this is up to an inch thick of sole that you got right there. Okay, so anyway, here's a close-up of the toe. See, that's even more convex than what I thought. Right there. So yeah, so they remove it because they've been taught for hundreds of years that the anatomy of the horse's foot is only concave. And all their drawings, all their pictures make it look like that. And so the reason I'm going into this, okay, is because when it comes to this area of the toe and the toe, trimming so that the front of the hoof fits the foot. See, we want it. Oh, wait a minute. I want to make sure I'm sharing the right thing. Okay, good. Let me know if I forget to share the right picture and you don't know what I'm talking about. Okay. So I want to go now though and look at the anatomy of the sole. And when it comes to trimming this toe, okay, there's a number of different things that you have to take into consideration. You have to take into consideration the thickness of the sole, how to determine how thick is the sole going around the toe. If the horn tubules and the wall is in the correct spot, and you have to understand how this hoof wall grows down and forward and how it grows. It can grow past here and forward to where if you don't trim the toe here and the sides of the toe, which we call the toe quarters, correctly, then you can wind up having a round toe or a square toe, depending on what you do with the sides of the toe here and how you handle the sole, how you handle this sole ridge here. Okay, so we're going to look at the anatomy real quick here. Let me see what I got here. Okay, well, new share. Okay, well, I'm going to show you this as an example. Okay, so up here, what I have is a thing that I have done on the anatomy of the sole, the true anatomy of the sole, which you learn from the sole corium ridge that goes around the perimeter of the foot here. Let me see if I have okay, let's look at this. This is oops. Okay, I'm gonna go back to this right here and explain what's going on here. Okay, but first we're gonna go forward. And this is, I would say, the understanding of this is the foundation of all of our knowledge of this foot. When you think about it, what are people always talking about? They're always talking about the sole, right? Whenever a horse is tender-footed, they're, oh, well, I think their sole is thin and that's why they're doing that, you know, and stuff like that, which it may be, but it may not be. It may be because, like on this horse, that the coronary band and everything was pulled clear down underneath. Now, I made this illustration in the sole anatomy before I knew that I was trimming the heels out of these horses and it was pulling the whole back of the foot down and pushing everything under this way. So the foot you see here is not anatomically correct. I mean, this part is his sole corium right here, but where you see the coronary band pulled down under like this, okay, none of this is correct in the foot right here. Okay, now that can also be a bad thing because when people are studying the feet, they don't know that the internal foot gets deformed and distorted. See, and so then they will do their interpretation of the anatomy based on a deformed foot. All right, so, but in this case, what we're looking at here on this, in our subject here is the anatomy of the sole. Okay, so the true shape of the sole is what I call concentric, convex and concave, meaning it is convex right here. This is what produces that sole ridge that we were just looking at on that wild foot. Okay, and then right here, because the bone, all right, is covered with this cartilage and sole corium here, then it extends beyond the actual coffin bone. The coffin bone would be right back about here and stuff because it has this layer of tissues over it. And so then after you get right about here, then it turns concave. So it'd be concave and then convex right there. See, I've drawn it with this green line here. Concave or convex and then concave. The convex sole ridge growing here and then concave. And then I've drawn it around the whole perimeter of the foot here. Okay, so I said here, for some unknown reason, neither farriers, vets, nor anatomists of the hoof, horse's foot, that I made this a long time ago, have realized that the sole is not concave, but is convex and concave, and that the sole corium lifts up over the superior border of the outer upper surface of the foot, thus producing a convex ridge of sole growth around the perimeter of the foot. If our experts don't even know the truth about something so blatantly obvious, then how good can their conclusions and teachings on how to trim be? Because you're going to be trimming something into that foot that shouldn't be there. You're going to be taking away stuff that should be there. Okay, so let's go back here. Okay, so here is that deal I just showed you right up here in the corner. Okay, and right here, now I showed you that wild horse's foot, right? Let's go. I have to show you something else about that foot there. Just a second here. Let me find it. Just okay. Let's go right here. New share. Okay, so here's that horse's foot again. Look, what do you have here? You have a convex ridge of sole, right? Convex. Okay. Okay, now here is the same foot, basically with the wall taken off of it, right here. Now, I want you to look at the lamina right here. That's what this is. These little lines here, lamina that the hoof wall is attached to. You see, here's your hoof wall, and that's attached in to these lamina, external lamina on the foot. Okay, and the wall starts growing up here at the coronary band. It attaches to, there's internal lamina leaves on the hoof wall that attach like leaves of paper, you know, fluttered together there into the lamina of the foot, and then it starts growing here. It grows straight down to where it gets right here, and it attaches to the sole. Okay, now I'm going to show you that picture. We're going to go back here. Where is it? Okay, so this is what I want to show you. Now here is the same picture. Can you see that there? Here's the lamina, but what he's done, he's taken his fingers and he has pulled the sole down so that you can see the sole corium. Let me see if I can find a better picture of that. Let's see here. Hold on here. Because this is real important to understand. let's see here. I may have a better picture. I may not. Just a second here. Well, we might just have to deal with using that picture. Just a second here. Okay, I haven't. I have one, but I don't know where it's at. So let's just look at this one here. Okay, so what he's done here, even though it's a little blurry, what I want you to see is how the lamina do not go all the way down to the end of the foot. They stop right here, and then you see the sole corium right there. And so the sole corium is not just on the very bottom of the foot. The sole corium comes out from underneath and lips up over the outer edge of the foot. And that is what grows this convex ridge of sole that grows around the whole perimeter of the foot there. Okay, but now I want to show you the Farrier's Bible. Okay, and this is called, I can't pronounce this guy's last name. Okay, this is called Adams and Stishak's Lameness in Horses. Okay, these are people that your farriers and your vets and all that, boy, they really respect these people. You know, like I said, this be like, ooh, the Farrier's Bible almost. Okay, but now look, why don't they have a picture of a foot? I got a picture of a foot right here. Okay, and look at this picture. There's a picture of a foot. There's a number of inner feet. I have to tell you that getting capsules off is rather hard. And so for the most part, people have studied these feet by slicing them with the hoof capsule on. And so a lot of times they never hardly ever look at the actual foot without a capsule. So what I want you to see here is how they take the lamina right here and they go all the way to the very bottom. You see that? I've marked it. Okay, but does it go all the way to the bottom over here? See, look here, there's sole corium lipping up around the outer edge of this foot. Every single foot of the horse is the same in that you will see a rim of sole corium that grows the sole on the outer edge of the foot, just like that, that grows a convex ridge of sole on this foot. But when you look at these books that are put out by these experts, they will draw you a picture. And the picture they draw makes it look like the sole is only concave by the way that they draw the lamina in all the way to the very end. You see, because if the sole corium that grows the sole only started right here at the very bottom, then yeah, you'd have probably concave sole, just like they've been teaching for hundreds of years. But the fact that this sole corium lips clear up over here, okay, it grows a form-fitted rim of sole around the whole perimeter of this foot here. And you see it here. Look how he's drawn it here. So, you know, they've drawn it so it only looks concave. The sole only looks like that. Why is that? Because they have been trimming this convex sole ridge out for hundreds of years. And consequently, they've also been transferring all the weight onto the very rim of the foot, which transfers it onto the lamina right here. And then they wonder why these horses get laminitis because of the way they're trimming. Okay, so that's that book. Now this is another book. The other Farrier Bible. All right. This would be the Merrick Vet Manual. All right. Let's look at it. Okay. Do you see the lamina there? Going down, where does it end? It ends at the very, 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 very bottom of the foot. Okay. So that then, again, because this is a drawing, what would that picture produce? That picture would produce only a concave sole. But these are drawings, right? Just a minute. Yep, these are drawings. And so why is it? I mean, why can't they have photographs, right? Don't you wonder? Why can't they have photographs? I got photographs and I'm an amateur. All right. I got photographs that show what the foot actually looks like. Okay. And this photograph here isn't even mine. So it's not like I've doctored stuff up or something. Okay. Why do they have to draw it? You know, I'm not saying that they purposely are being deceitful, but it sure makes you wonder, you know. But then again, you want to think of what are the ramifications of people finding out that you're experts and that you have been describing and showing things that are untrue for hundreds of years? You know, where does that put your credibility, right? So, like I said, I don't think they're being deceitful on purpose, but it makes me wonder, like, what if they look at feet and go, well, gee, we can't show that because that kind of makes it look like we'd be wrong. I mean, it just makes me wonder why they do stuff like this. Again, what is this? Merrick Vet Manual versus a real foot. That's what I put here. Merrick Vet Manual versus a real foot. And I said, how deceitful is it to still be using drawings? You know, if they use a picture, sooner or later, someone's going to ask questions. See, they can't even get the sole right. So for you to trim your horse, you have to know what the foot is supposed to be, and you have to know what is the shape of the sole. And the reason I brought this up is because Amanda, who's been trimming her filly, okay, all of a sudden this big, huge sole ridge just showed up on that horse. And there was some things going on that I wanted to discuss. And so in discussing that and what I think is going wrong with that foot and stuff like that, we needed to go back over what is the true anatomy of the sole. So let's
Hey,
see.
Linda,
Yeah.
can you also then address, while you're on this topic of the sole ridge, can you also address toe callus? Because yeah, I was told to remove toe calluses, and I'm wondering if we're talking about the same thing.
Yeah. Well, see, they don't realize that the toe callus is just part of the sole ridge, you know. And yeah, they do this one thing, never did what they tell you, never remove that.
I was told that it wasn't supposed to be there.
Oh, it wasn't supposed to be there?
Yeah, that it's that toe callus and it's not supposed to be there. So you're like, you're making changes, you're watching it, and you're, I've seen people remove it, but you're just like looking to make the change where making enough changes so that goes away.
Oh, okay. Well,
so I actually haven't seen a toe callus in a couple years, but this is my recollection.
Okay. Well, when I first started trimming and everything, it was the mantra, never touch the toe callus. You know, and it still is with some of them, as far as I know, you know, but I always figured, well, the toe grows, right? And so if I never ever touched the toe callus, well, my toe would just keep getting longer and longer probably. But a toe callus would technically just be, it's the same sole ridge. I mean, when you look at, like, you look at this foot right here, okay, you know, because a horse breaks over a lot on his toe, you know, it could get calloused up and quit growing and you could get real compressed in there, you know. Sometimes it's not going to be fit in the foot and it'd be way out forward. Like that's what happened to me basically, is my toes were too long and I didn't even know it. Because I had them x-rayed and you could tell that, and I had the right measurements. I was doing, at that time, I was doing Gene Ovanic's trim, which is a natural balance kind of trim. And just the way he was measuring and stuff, sometimes you weren't finding the real true apex of the frog or the real toe length in your toe, because at the same time they're saying don't touch the callus. So your toe is just gradually getting out forward there and stuff. But see, this is the way I think that this, you know, we see what this other horse had over here, 3-year-old wild mare. We see what the inner foot truly looks like. You know, there isn't any difference in the sole corium that's in the toe as anywhere else. So if you seem to have a callus, it's just because that area hasn't been trimmed much or dealt with. And maybe you just got some compressed sole there, because that's what I found out toe calluses were. And they might be in the right place as far as the length of the toe, or they might be too far forward. You know, my personal belief is that this whole foot ought to keep growing and renewing itself and not get stuck. And you know how when you get a callus, your skin isn't really in the best shape there sometimes, and stuff quits growing and exfoliating. So does that answer anything?
Yeah, actually you cleared that up really well for me. Thank you.
Okay. Let's see here. Yeah, because like you see what happens on this foot. Okay, look at the sole corium on this foot in the toe. There's no difference in it than anywhere else, you know, but you see how you could consider this a kind of a callus that's grown in here, and you see the damage it does to the sole corium. See, so anyway. Oh, and look over here. See what it looked like inside around there, how it just kind of cut the circulation off and kind of deadened stuff, you know. So anyway, to me, I want everything to keep growing and keep renewing and that kind of stuff. And so
your recommendation on that is to just keep, you know, trying to remove
remove it and
or keep that, or
to start renewing it.
Okay.
Oh, you were coming through really weird there for a minute, like like
so that whole idea that it's bar pooling is ridiculous, because it's not bar, is what you're saying.
No, it's not bar.
Okay, thanks.
You know, I mean,
that was worth the price of admission.
Oh, yeah, I charge a lot too. Okay, well, here, let's just look at this foot real close. You know, I mean, your bar grows right from here. You know, what she thinks is bar pooling is where the foot's been assaulted, and so it's letting out wound exude. Do you know what I'm talking about? That weird pussy yellow stuff that comes when a wound is trying to heal. And these feet will have you ever seen your soles get really yellow, or a part of your foot turn extra yellow and shiny or hard or something like that and stuff?
Usually on the like a laminitic foot.
Okay, well, that stuff is coming from what I've seen is the foot, when the foot's assaulted, it will let that stuff off. Even when it's not laminitis, if the sole is assaulted, like trimmed too short sometimes or something like that, Sometimes the foot lets off that stuff, whatever it is, and it comes into the sole, and then it hardens and makes it harder. Like it's trying to, it's almost like a glue that's trying to hold everything together. But anyway, so yeah, what I would do there, I would just start cleaning that up until it wasn't like that anymore and it started growing back normal. You know, that's not to say that your horse wouldn't be sore if you did that. Why wouldn't he be? You know, everything's kind of dead under there. And so he's just kind of used to it being dead and he's walking on it. Now you've removed it and the sole that's supposed to be growing there is thin, you know, and that's healing up now. Of course, you know, I don't believe in horses being tender or sore for months on end, you know, or anything like that. You know, no more than you know, I don't know what to tell people about that. So that's something they got to deal with. I don't know. Let's see here. What was I going to look at? Okay. All right. So, I want to go to, where do I go next here? Just a second. Well, let's look at Amanda's foot in relation to what I've been sharing about this. So just a second here. Let me see if there's any other pictures I got here that, okay, here we go. Okay, you see this sulcorium? Lips around the edge. So again, this foot is supposed, you know, here's another thing farriers always worried about and always talking about the circumflex artery. Ooh, ooh, ooh. You know, well, if they would allow this foot to grow the proper sole, which it has this little, let me go back here. Okay, so I showed you this foot right here, how when he pulled the sole down, you could see the sulcorium right here. Let me see here. But on this picture here, okay, where the sole, see in that other picture, he's taken his fingers right here and he's pulled this down so that you can see the sulcorium. But on this picture here, you can't see it because there's a little lip of sole that is surrounding the perimeter of that foot and holding it in there just like a little form-fitted saucer. See, and this is what protects the whole rim of that foot and protects the coffin bone and protects that circumflex artery and all that stuff they're so concerned about all the time. Okay, but they're trimming it out. They're trimming out what protects it. See, to make it look concave. All right. Here, we'll look at this one. Okay, there you can see it again. That's the same foot. All right, and here again, here you see the sulcorium. You know, the big lips up over the edge. Right here. Okay, my grandma, great-grandmother and grandfather. Okay. I look just like that, by the way. Okay. Anyway, I just have some more. Here's, okay, let's look at this. This is the same horse, the back foot. Now that looks a little more concave there, but not like what they're showing you. Let's see. See there? That's the same foot. That's not that type of concavity that the picture they put in your head. See? Okay. So let's go to the internet. Let's see. And I'll get on the mentor page. maybe. And we're going to look at Amanda's feet because, see, okay, so Amanda went through this deal. Like, this is her horse here, and this mare, who I think is 2 and stuff. Is Amanda here today? Let me look here, see who's here. No, she's probably at work. Okay. Let's see.
Linda,
we
are
go.
you recording this?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty
Okay,
sure.
that's good.
Let's see.
Okay.
Let's see if it's on YouTube. Well, hold on. I'm going to go check.
It is on YouTube, actually.
Oh,
I
okay.
started on YouTube. So YouTube's
Okay.
recording it. Okay.
Oh,
great.
okay. Yeah, YouTube's recording it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so Amanda has been having problems, I have noticed, because one of the problems is that, and this happens with a lot of these young horses, you know, in the wild, these colts get up and they're following their mother and they're getting lots of movement. And so their hoof capsule is wearing at the rate of growth that their inner foot is growing, because the hoof capsule and the foot are 2 different objects. And the hoof capsule you have today will not be there next year if everything goes right. And it renews itself like your hair. See? And the hair I have now, I don't have one hair on my head that I had when I was 5 years old. I mean, it's like renewed itself totally. Same thing with your fingernails and your skin and stuff like that. And so this hoof capsule is temporary, and it's a shoe that is supposed to grow from form fitted to this inner foot. But if it grows too long and collapses, like say the heels collapse forward or the toe gets long, or it is trimmed incorrectly, it alters the shape of the capsule. And because the inner 2/3 of that inner foot is soft cartilage and fat and can be and needs the hoof capsule to support it in the exact shape it's supposed to be in, then if the hoof capsule gets deformed, it pulls the foot into the deformation with it. And so when we're trimming these feet, the first thing we have to know is what the shape of that inner foot is and how this capsule is supposed to correctly grow from it and support it and maintain and stabilize and keep the true shape and form of that inner foot. And so when things aren't growing right, for one reason or the other, like here with this horse, this mare has an injury. So it's pretty much a given that maybe this area of the foot is not going to grow quite correctly, and you're going to have to help it. One of the things that can happen, like we would have to look at this foot and we have to know, what is it supposed to look like? What does the inner foot look like, and how should the capsule look? Okay, now we have things that help us, which are, okay, the horn tubules, which start up here and grow down, and they are vertical, straight up and down, okay, at a slight angle from the side, but still, and they are supposed to be in alignment, parallel to one another. But then we have the growth rings. The growth rings are supposed to be the exact shape of the coronary band and periopal at the top, which surround the foot like a crown. Okay? And so if we know the shape of that inner foot, then when we look and we understand how the growth rings are supposed to look on that foot, okay, then when we look at a foot from the front like this, okay, we should be able to tell certain things. Okay, first of all, when we look at it, like we know something is going on here, that this mare has an issue. First of all, we see this crack here. So we know she's had an injury in her coronary band. Okay, now what I see that happens here, that has created a weakness to where the wall on this side does not grow down normally. Now, you want everything to grow normal. And normal is where the wall grows down, connects with the sole, supports the sole, and grows another 3/4 of an inch to an inch. And then the wall separates and grows past the sole so that it can be worn off by the horse or trimmed off by you. You know, ideally, the sole only grows 3/4 of an inch to an inch before it dies, and then it should exfoliate, okay, and shed off on its own. The wall has to separate right here and then grow past the sole and then be chipped off by the horse or trimmed off by you. That would be proper growth. So when you're not getting proper growth, you like say the wall is not separating from the sole and growing down past the sole. Okay, let's say it's attaching to the sole and the sole is not shedding. And so the sole is just being pulled with the wall. Okay, you have to learn that that is what is going on, and you have to learn how to maintain the sole where it's supposed to be and to maintain the wall and to tell when things aren't growing quite right so you can help it. Now, a lot of times in the toe, okay, the wall and the sole will connect together and you won't get that separation always. And a lot of times you'll get, which like we were talking earlier, the toe callus or something like that too. So you have to learn to differentiate between the two and make sure that that wall keeps growing and that there is still a little dividing line there in the white line between the sole and the wall. Now here, something has gone on to where this wall is not able to grow down and push past the sole and grow out. And part of it is because there was this injury here, okay? But when she started, okay, and look at the hairline. You see that up there? Okay, so that we would know that is not correct because that is not the shape of an inner foot. See, so before we go on with this picture, we're going to look at the shape of an inner foot. So just hold on a second. And let's see here. Okay.
Linda, is there the white line isn't forming at that point in this in front of the sole or outside of the sole, and that's why the wall's dragging the sole down? I'm not sure I totally understand that.
Usually what happens is, you know, there you'll see a little definition in the white line between the white line and the sole. That's what you should be seeing. But sometimes you may have such a heavy connection there that it's not separating and the sole is not wearing away like it should. So you just have to be aware that this is going on, because what can happen is your wall could keep growing and sticking to your sole and to where everything's growing out of bounds and you don't know it because it's so connected together.
Got it. All right, thank you.
I'll show you more when we look at her foot on the sole view, what it started to do. Okay, so Let's see, chats, new share. Okay, so here is what a foot looks like from the front. Okay, so technically when I look at a hoof wall from the front, it shouldn't look much different than this, other than, you know, here's your coronary band, your wall is going to come clear out to here. You know, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to post some pictures of these feet. And would it be good if you guys put it in paint and then drew hoof capsules on it to see what that would look like? See, and then, well, you'll see here, just a second here. Let me see if I can annotate. Okay. Okay, so here we see the coronary band. Okay, and like I said, this foot, for the most part, okay, did not have any distortions or any real deformations on it. Okay, but let's look. If I was looking at this, the top of the hoof capsule, the hairline should go like this. That's what I should be seeing when I look in front like this. Okay, if we look over here at just a minute here. Let me undo. Okay, let's look at Amanda's horse here. Okay, what do we see here on the first picture? See, starts here. Right there, we're going to know something's wrong, right? Now, the thing that you have to remember in all of this too, is that if this stuff goes on long enough, you can wind up with remodeling in the coffin bone. Okay, so sometimes there's only so much correction you can do. So in a foot like this, me personally, I would want to have some x-rays to see if there was very much remodeling in the coffin bone. But this is also a really young horse, so she's going to continue to grow. So, okay, so here we see the hairline. Let's go back over here. Just a minute here. Let me undo that. Oh, how do I undo it? Just a second. Oh, I was looking at the wrong spot. Just a second here. Okay. All right, so just a second here. Okay, so here's the hairline on here. Okay, now if we were to look down here, what would we see? I'm not too sure that maybe part of this horse's toe wasn't kind of worn off, but we'll see. This is what we should see at the bottom. This would be the side of the foot. Okay, now here's where your horn tubules would go. There's your little papillae. Should be straight. Looking like this. Now, remember I told you the longest horn tubule is right in the center of the foot, but then they get shorter as they go over towards the side. See? Now, of course, we know it's not going to be right there. It's going to have to go past here about an inch. Like so that you have sole under here, right? Let's do. So it's going to look something like that from the front. Of course, I'm not a very good trimmer. I wasn't symmetrical there. Let's stop here for a second. Okay, where you at? Okay, so let's go back to Amanda's horse here.
Well, before we leave this one, can you tell, the line that you drew on the top of the coronary band, though, does not seem very parallel to the line on the top of the lamina on
What do
this
you-
foot.
Um,
Yeah, like if you drew a line on the top of the
Right here?
lamina, it's, yeah,
Just a
like
minute.
you see there, and then you continued it going back to the left
Okay.
of this image. So is that something we need to understand?
Just a minute and we'll
you see
do
what I
it
mean?
here. Okay, here's the lamina.
Yeah.
Well, you mean right there?
Oh, now that you drew
Yeah,
it in,
you
it looks
can't,
more.
because this foot was several days old and I had it soaking in alcohol and stuff. You can't really
Okay.
see. Plus, I think, see, if there was one place I was going to fault this foot, was the farrier didn't know how to trim the pillars, so they weren't really shaped to the foot. So there was some pressure right here, pushing up from a too high a pillar. So this is your coronary band right here. We'll go ahead and just do that. How's that look?
Yeah, I mean, I still see a little bit,
You're-
but yeah, now
Yeah,
that
you're
you've
not
got-
going to
okay,
have
yeah,
a perfect foot, or a perfect picture of a foot. See, let me show you something else here. Just a minute. Yeah, you have to remember in these feet that they're prone to having either slight distortions or big distortions.
Sure.
So we have to know what the right anatomy would be for it. Here, we can look at just a minute. See, like even here, okay, as soon as you remove the capsule, the whole back of the foot falls down. Okay, so you could look at this foot and not realize that this is actually supposed to be picked up and that even these heels are supposed to be straighter and not like that. Because this is all, it's not connected like you would think. Okay, it's very, very, very movable, very easily movable.
Okay.
See, because all of this is fat and then just thin cartilage there. Let's see here. So all of this here is what keeps this in shape. And without it, the whole back of the foot is easily deformed.
Got it.
Let's see here. Okay, so I was going to show you this other picture here.
I didn't mean to sidetrack you
if
from
you
going
have a
back to
question,
Amanda's foot.
Go right ahead, because you want to understand and see, that's the hardest part I have in is these feet. So many of these feet, it's so hard to find a foot that is not deformed. And unless you have a computer generated one, so yeah, you're going to see things that aren't exactly symmetrical. And plus, depending on where and how you take the picture and stuff like that. Let's see here. Let's see, what was that under? I do believe. See if she's here. Oh, wait a minute. Okay. So when I first started doing this, I would do stuff. New share. Like this to try and figure it out. Like, okay, I would look, this is a different foot than the one I just showed you, but you see how it's the same. There's your coronary band, pretty much, to try and figure out how would a foot look. How is it supposed to look to me? Is it supposed to have this here and all that? Like you look at this foot here, Just a minute. Okay, the inner foot doesn't have that, but all of a sudden I'm looking at a capsule. See, because this is what I'm trying to get at today is how we don't trim this area right. And then it grows long and forward and it changes the shape of the toe. And one way we can tell is looking at these growth rings here. See, they're not supposed to look like that. Let me show you what they're supposed to look like. Just a second. Because I've got them pretty close on my horse. Let's see. Here's a picture without a bevel. Just a second. Okay, where are you? Okay. Okay, so being cognizant of this, you know, of the shape of the inner foot and how the capsule kind of should look on it, and the understanding the horn tubules and the growth rings. I know that the growth rings aren't supposed to have right here. It's not supposed to go up like that. Okay, you see where I've marked the growth ring on this one? And you can see them in here. Now there's a little wave. Okay, you're not going to see, it's hard to find a perfect, you know. And of course I got this crack clear from when I was trimming out the heels, but okay. So do you see the growth rings here, the horizontal growth rings and the vertical horn tubules, and how they have to follow that foot, the shape of that foot? See how this kind of goes like that, and then you see there the shape of the hairline. Well, see, I'm trying to get all this so that it's following the shape of the growth of the inner foot. So let's go back to here. Where am I? Okay. See this again, this is the inner foot. And so I know, let's see. Let me find a better picture. Oops. I just stopped screen sharing. Just a second. Let me put it on this while I go find another picture. Oops. Just a second. Oh, I seem to have lost my picture. Hold on. I need to close some windows. It's not letting me share. Okay, hold on. I'm going to go find another picture of the front of the foot. We'll put this one up there for you to look at while I'm doing that. Okay. Okay, so just so we don't get any further off, what I am headed for is how you are to trim the sides of that toe, how you have to manage the sole, how you have to look at the growth rings and the horn tubules to make sure they're in the right spot. And so you're dealing with not only looking at the bottom of the foot and at the sides of the toe and being able to tell, is this in the shape of my actual horse's foot, or is this a distortion? You look at the bottom. I mean, we're looking at a 3D object here, basically. So you're also looking at the front, you're looking at the side, you're looking at the bottom, you're dealing with the sole, you're dealing with the growth rings, and you're trying to work with all this stuff and get this knowledge so that when you look at the front of your horse's foot and at the toe and at the sides of the toe, you're going to know what you're dealing with and what you have to trim to try and get that hoof capsule to conform to the shape of that inner foot and support it correctly. Because anything that you let grow beyond what it's supposed to becomes a lever or becomes an imbalance. See, And so that's all I'm focusing on today is the sides of the toe. And of course, you know, the center of the toe kind of, we could divide it in half and take each side, or we could whatever. But this is all I want to focus on until it is really understood. Because see, I'm just finally really understanding it, and it has made a whole difference in how my feet are responding. Just getting that one area correct. So, okay, so anyway, I was on my way to look for a picture. Maybe I'll find it. Maybe I won't. So my mare and the front of the foot, trying to remember what things are under. Let's try horn tubules. Maybe I put it under that. Horn tubules. All right, could have put it under toe pillars. Let's see. Okay, well, we can look at this foot anyway. This is a good foot to look at as far as shape. Maybe not. Just a minute. What did I do with you? Well, I may not be able to find that picture, so hold on a second. Have patience. What is that under? Horn tubules, growth rings. Okay, well, here's one that'll work. I think this will work. This isn't the one I'm looking for, but it should work to try and explain what I'm trying to help you understand. And if I'll post some pictures of what the front of the inner foot looks like, because really what we're doing is we're just trying to shape things in that general shape and help them get there. See? So where am I at? Okay, so what I've done here, okay, so this was my mare's foot this might have been my mare's foot, might have been another horse. I did a dissection, irregardless, what I want you to see here is that this foot, the shape of the inner foot and how the capsule grows from it, and how, okay, now I've marked the growth rings right here. You see that? Okay, this happens when you leave this part of the toe too long. And it can happen for an extended period of time. And what happens is the wall starts getting jammed up this way. See, this is the way the shape of the foot should be. What I have marked right here. And instead, what happens is you wind up letting this grow a little too long, then it starts jamming up, then you'll start seeing it in the growth rings, how they'll be jammed up like this. Eventually, it can push all the way up into the coronary band to where it pushes, literally pushes the coronary band upward like that. And so instead of the wall, just a minute, let me annotate here. Instead of this being like this, like, okay, you can tell on this capsule right here, this capsule should have gone down like this, more like that. That's not perfect, but you're getting a general idea, because that's the shape of the foot. But what happens is, because you leave this area too long and the sole, see, the sole can connect to it when it grows forward, and so you don't realize that this area has gotten out of shape. And so, like I said, it jams up this way, and you can tell by the way the growth rings look, because they're supposed to look like this over here. And you can tell by the way this looks up here, because this is not supposed to be just straight over like that. It's supposed to actually slightly go down like so. And now the half of the foot you're seeing on this side, I just took a copy of this half and then pasted it over here. Okay, so this isn't the actual half of that foot, but it would look similar. Okay, so, and now look here. Here's what the foot looks like when you look at it from the bottom. Well, why should this look any different? Shouldn't it just go like this? See, and you see how the growth ring would go there? You know, of course, it'd be look a little bit more like that, because you have kind of a moon sickle here. But anyway, okay, so now we're going to go back to Amanda's horse, and we're going to look at these growth rings here and see what's happened there. Now, yeah, well, I'll wait on that. Just a second. Annotate. Hold on. Clear all drawings. There we go. Okay, let's close that. Okay, so we'll go back to, I'm going to have to close some things out here. Let's see. Hold on, I got to close some windows out. I got way too many open. Okay, do a new share. And okay, so now we're back at Facebook. Okay, now, okay, so now do you see more of what's going on with this foot from looking at the front of it? That these areas have been, well, first of all, part of the problem too was this over here. What's happening is it is not growing out and past the sole like it should down here. Instead, the growth is jamming back up this way, clear up into the hairline up here. Now it started to get better. It started to get better down here. See how that looks a little better, what's going on here? But what's going to happen is, especially on a foot like this, where you have a crack or an injury or anything like that, you have to pay extra special attention to it and stuff, that it's not going to go back to doing what it naturally wants to do, because this naturally wants to, because the wall's weaker here, it doesn't want to push it out past the sole. Instead, when the wall gets long over here, it's just going to want to push up back this way and keep raising this part of the foot. Hold on here. Okay, so she was, all right, so I want to find the picture that is before this one, because see, for a long time, she did not touch the sole. She just took the wall down to the level of the sole. Well, it wasn't too bad for this side over here. Make sure this is the same foot. this side over here, but what happened over here on this side, let me get a copy of this so I can enlarge it. Okay, make sure I'm in the same right place here. Oh, yeah, just a minute. Riza is sending me a message. Just a second. Just a second. Riza wanting to know how to get in. Okay. Who's imitating me? You're doing a good job. You're not muted. Just a minute. Yeah. Okay. So I just had to send a note to Riza. Anyway, okay. So let's go find her post. Let me get a copy of that. Did I copy image, save image? There we go. Okay. Let me go to her post and see. Let's see. See if mentor page. Okay, because I kind of want to show you the development. Now, there's a couple things going on with this filly in that I started to tell you how these horses jump up, they start following their mother, and the hoof capsule that is supposed to be growing and renewing itself and yet maintaining the shape of the foot. Well, on these younger horses, their foot is growing. And so if the hoof capsule, including the frog, the periopal, everything is not wearing out at the same rate that their foot is getting bigger, they will become hoof bound. It's similar to what happens when we trim the heels out of the horse. And the foot and the capsule, we're making the capsule smaller, but we don't realize it. And the way it works is how it then is pulling the foot, the already grown foot, into a smaller capsule. You know, but this just happens on these foals because their capsule is not being worn down enough as their foot is expanding, so that then as the foot expands, it's growing a bigger capsule. See, and so that's what's happened to this filly. And she has that along with the fact that she had this injury on her coronary band. So anyway, hold on. I gotta send a link to somebody on how to get on Hoof Chat. Just a minute. Okay, hold on. I posted a thing yesterday, the Zoom meeting. Let's see. Oops. Gotta send somebody a link here. Copy. Okay. Oh yeah, yeah, go ahead. Yeah, there's a whole thing of it in there if you want some more. Talking to my husband. Just had a potato salad container in front of my face. Yep, eat that. It's good. Okay, let's see. Okay, I just sent somebody that link. All right, so now where was I going? Over here to Amanda's pictures to look at them. Okay, well, See, you can't just bevel the wall without dealing with the sole. See, we could look at different pictures. Okay, well, look here. Just a minute. Taking all the principles of what we have discussed into consideration. Okay, look here. Here's 2/17, February 17th. Here's March 5th. Okay, now it almost looks like this side has gotten a little higher. Either way, what's happening is that if you go through a series of pictures, this side started looking a little better up here, but then all of a sudden this shot up again. This side of the wall shot up again. And I asked her for some sole shots, because what that is telling me is that the sole and the wall are connecting here. The growth is being pushed up this way instead of coming down the way it should. Let's see. Let's go look at the sole. I want to look at previous sole shots. Okay, let's see. 2/17. Here we go. Okay, so she started trimming and it was looking pretty good. Okay, except if you see over here, okay, you'll see that it looks a little yellow right here, and there's a little bit of red, and that this side is starting to get a little bit wider. And this would be because the wall is not growing out away from the sole and being trimmed away normally, while this side that is not injured, okay, is growing more normal. Okay, am I making sense here? Because of the injury on this side, she was trimming less sole away, and the wall was not coming. Okay, you know what I mean, right? When I talk about how the wall is supposed to grow down past the sole, and then you see it long, and then you nip it or rasp it off, right? I need a yes from somebody, so I feel like I'm not alone.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
like there's people out there. Okay, so that's not happening on this side of the foot. The wall, because of the injury, is not pushing that wall out past that sole, but she's not realizing that. See? And so she's only been taking the wall down with the rasp pretty much to the level of the sole only. Well, this side, the wall pushes out past the sole. It's not injured like the other side. So what's happening here is she is trimming, in reality, less on this side than she is trimming on this side. So this side is just getting higher, pushing up, getting wider, wider. See? So she's trimming this side better than she's trimming this side because of the injury. And so let's just take this and save that image, and we're going to map it out here. And yeah, okay, so there it is. So I'm going to take that and open with paint. It's going to be huge. Resize. Let's see, let's try 60. Oh, that's still. Let's do some more. Wait a minute. Okay, just a second here. I might. Let's see. Select. Oh, wait. Sorry. There we go. We're in paint now. Okay. Okay, so just a second here. Select all. I want to reduce that a little bit more. Resize. Let's do about 80. Okay. And I'm gonna go up here and I'm gonna take this and put it in the middle of our screen. Okay. Okay, well, okay. So it wasn't looking too bad right here, except the place that I'm going to fault her, which that's something she's got to come to, is that she's going to have to, she doesn't want to do it, but she's going to have to trim off more bar because this capsule is bound up. This foot has continued to grow and the capsule has stayed kind of small and stuff, but Amanda's kind of in place right now where she don't want to trim bars like that. So that's okay. That's something people have to come to. It looks like she did trim more over on this one finally. Okay. If your capsule's going to expand, you're going to have to trim those bars. Okay. Because the bar is there to establish and support the heel in the position it's in. But if your heels aren't in the right position and your capsule isn't big enough, then your bars are going to bind your foot right into that spot right there. So, okay, let's take this picture here. I'm going to have to twist this thing around so it's level. Just a minute. No. Got too much stuff here. Okay, so we use the protractor and this mapping so that we can look at the front of this toe and tell if we're trimming symmetrically, and if we're trimming the toe straight where it's supposed to be. And let's see here. Does everybody understand why we use that protractor? What it does for you?
No.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for speaking up there. Okay, so feet are symmetrical, same-sided, pretty much, you know. And so what the protractor does is the protractor tells me if I'm trimming the toe the same on each side or if I'm trimming straight. Once you put a line down this foot like this, and then you balance that protractor, you know, at the let me see if I can find a picture. Hold on. Because this is real important to understand. Maybe I have the protractor on here somewhere. Of course not. No, it's not. Just a second here. Crumb. Oh man. How to explain that? Okay. Why do we use the protractor? Well, I'll try and explain it in a picture. Let me get a picture of a protractor. Hold on. Okay. Okay. All righty. Paste. Okay, can you see that protractor on there?
Yes.
Okay. I was hoping I could do a transparent, but I'm going to have to cut it out. So hold on a second here. Let me cut it out and then I can put it on this foot and give an example. Not very good cutting that out. Okay. see if this will work. Aha. Okay. All right. Let's see here. Okay, let me flip it around. Rotate. There we go. Okay. If the foot is straight and we put this on the foot, then we can, by marking this area here, just a second here. Okay, I always mark it in the center right here. Wait a minute. Just mark it right here and right here. Okay. Wait a minute. So that I can line it up with this line right here. See there? And that would give me the center of my toe. Because if here, we're going to take this picture here. Okay, first of all, we're not looking at this level or let me show you here just a minute. Copy. Oops, a second. I got to put it in another program so I can show you how I'm going to straighten it out. Let's see. Search. It takes a second for this. See, we want everything square. File, open, let's do a new. Okay, just a minute here, new share. Okay. Okay, you see this foot here? I'm going to straighten it out in this program. See there? Okay, then I'm going to copy it again and take it back to Paint where we were. Just a minute here. Okay, see how that foot was not straight? And if you don't watch it, you start looking at it as if it is straight when it's not. Let's see. Okay, so we're going to put this here because now the foot is straight. And then we're going to take the protractor here. Okay, see how it lined up there? See how the blue lines lined up with down the foot, the marks down the center of the foot? Okay, so that means if I measure my toe, well, wait a second.
Can't see the protractor.
What'd you say?
We
oh
can't
gosh,
see.
sorry. I forgot to change it. There we go. Okay, just a second here. Okay, here's the foot I straightened out. Hold on here. Cut. Let me get all this kind of so I can fit it in. Paste. Okay, so now I got that one straight right there. Okay, now let's get the protractor here. Okay, now see how that wouldn't work right there. But now that I've got the straight line down the center of the foot and I come up there, and let's say my toe, I measure my toe right to there. Okay, then I can draw a line across there, right there. And that way I know that I'm going to center my toe when I bevel it. But here's another thing that I can do. Just a minute. Okay, I also draw a line right here. straight across. But okay, you see this, the lines I put on my protractor right there? Once you draw that line down the center of the foot, and then you line that up, then you can tell by looking at your foot whether the two sides are symmetrical, because you might be able to look at this if it's really wide on one side, like this is much wider and different shaped over here than this side. You might be able to tell by looking, but a lot of times you can't tell by looking, especially at the toe. But if I take this protractor and I make straight lines, like I put a line here, and then I put a line up there on my toe, okay, I'm going to be able to look at both sides of the foot. First of all, I'm going to have my toe centered, because if you don't, what happens if you try and do it by eye instead of using that protractor to tell if your lines are straight, then you can wind up you could wind up putting your line like this. See? And then your toe would wind up, if let's say I thought that was where the center of the toe is, and then I rasped it right there. Okay, then what am I doing? Let's see. My foot is not going to be symmetrical, and my breakover in when the horse's foot rolls over in the toe is going to go to the side. See? To whereas if I use that protractor, I know that it's better than my eyeballs in making sure that I have a straight line across the front of that foot. But here's another thing that it does. It tells me if I'm trimming the toe right, because look here, let's make this. It should be the same on both sides. The toe, meaning the same shape on this side over here as over here. Now, if I allow the sole to connect to the wall and I never trim the sole down or manage the sole much over here, or it could be on both toes too, okay? You notice how, does anybody see how this side of the foot looks rounder than this side? How this side looks more oval, but this side looks rounder? Does anybody see that? You can really see it on this one where I straightened it out. Do I have to make it bigger?
Yes.
No, it's good. We see it.
Okay. Okay, do you also see that where she rasped, you know, you can tell she decided to get brave and rasp into the sole here in that sole ridge. You can see it there. She made kind of a flat, made it flat kind of all along there.
Yes.
Okay, notice how this is wider than this too on this side. See? Okay, but if, let's say, if she hadn't taken this wall down and the sole had connected to the wall in the same way it did over here, then it'd be out there too, just like that. And so there's different things going on here that you can tell that something's gone on with this side of the foot. And when we, of course, we know what's gone on because we see the injuries and we see how the hairline is raised up. And so this side of the sole and this side, especially of the wall, is not getting trimmed down enough. And it's also connecting, like what I would do. I would come in here and I would just make a superficial separation about the width of a Sharpie in the white line area between the white line and the sole, so that there was just this slight separation that might encourage the wall to grow past the sole and not drag it with it. But so that means this side has grown longer and higher and forward. as well, it has also jammed up. See? And so what I have been trying to do is work with my feet and make sure that they're shaped more like this on both sides. Now, obviously you can tell if you look and you see where it gets really yellow and hard, that means that everything's being kind of assaulted there. And so it's got some what I call exudate or laminar serum is being pumped into the sole because the sole's being assaulted on this side because of the imbalance and everything like that. Let's go and look at, okay, now who said they didn't ask me about the protractor? Did I kind of explain that enough to where you can kind of see why we use a protractor?
You did. I do think a little bit different.
Okay.
We can talk about that later.
Okay, who am I talking to?
This is Tammy.
Oh, hi.
Hey.
Okay, do you, okay, yeah, we'll talk about that later. Anyway, that's why I use a protractor. That's why I suggest you use the protractor. Look, she's got this foot pretty straight here in the pictures. See there? And look at on this foot here, she hasn't let it overgrow quite as much yet. If she'd have just learned how to take this down a little bit more, it would have been shaped more like this side over here. Because as you take the toe quarter down, it gets shaped more like this. Okay, if it's round, it's because it got too, it was allowed to grow too much and too much growth was allowed to stay there. Because why is that? Because it grows, the wall grows down and forward like this, past the foot. And on these corners here, especially, if that wall grows forward and down, then again, they wind up being round right here instead of more spade shaped like that.
Linda, can I asking a question?
Yeah.
Okay, the toe divot,
The
is that an indicator of when your quarters are just too long?
the toe divot?
Yeah,
To
when you
me,
start getting
yeah, I know what you're talking about. To
in a
me,
crack.
when they, oh, say that again, because are you talking about this mark right here? In here?
I'm trying to see where you're at.
What toe divot are you talking about?
If you can see the other side of the capsule, and right in the center of the toe, you see a little crack starting to form, and then there'll be a crack coming up the center of the toe.
Oh, right here?
Yes. See,
Okay.
see that little damaged area right there at the very top of the toe?
Yeah. Yeah, you can see
Yeah.
the red there too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that indicator is what I'm trying to say, that your
Well,
foot's
I
off.
think when it comes to those divots in the toes, okay, I think that is from the overall pressure of well, look at the side of her foot here. Just a minute. Let me go find, because she got a lot more stuff going on there in the back of that foot. Let's find some more pictures. See, okay, this, okay, that, like I said, that horse is growing. Okay, and the hoof capsule is not expanding with her foot, and so the whole back of her foot is being held down and under right here. And so let's see here, let me find a picture to explain what I think is going on, because everything has a place, and so if one thing gets displaced, it infringes on another area. Let's see, digital cushion. Hopefully I can find this picture. Okay, just a minute. New share. Okay, so let's say this is your normal foot and everything is situated in it. You got your digital cushion and your frog. Well, the digital cushion would be part of the foot. The frog is part of the capsule. And then of course the coffin bone, that's part of the foot. Okay. So when the back of the capsule does not expand and it holds that foot like this, okay, it's pulling all this anatomy internally down like this and shoving it forward under here. Well, the coffin bone's there. What happens to it? It gets shoved up this way, which rotates it on this bone. And what happens to the toe here? If I shove this up that way, what happens to this? I'll let you answer that. If I take all this here and I push it up into the back of this coffin bone, and this coffin bone is connected up here to the joint, then what happens to the toe of the coffin bone?
Tips the toe down forward.
Right. And so now the toe in the center is pressing down on the sole, right? At the same time, the capsule itself, because remember, you got two objects. Okay. Now this is all being pushed up. The toe is being forced down this way, but the heels are not correct. And everything on the capsule is being shoved that way while the toe is being forced that way. So what I've seen is this creates a divot in the toe. This creates damage in the toe. This wears out the toe of the coffin bone. And that's where you get that injury. And you know, like Valor, when I was trimming out his heels at one point, he had black dots in all four toes. And that was because of the way I was changing the weight bearing equilibrium of the hoof capsule. It was pulling all the anatomy in his foot down and under like this, pushing the back of his coffin bone up, which was rotating the toe down. And so all that pressure was causing demineralization of the toe and damage in the toe. And as soon as I restored most of his heel and the foot was able to flatten out again more the way it should be, all of those disappeared. And they were there for a couple of years. And no matter how much you dig that black dot out, or that divot, as you call it, in the toe, it would keep coming back, keep coming back. But as soon as I grew heels on him and kind of released this anatomy in the foot and let that coffin bone back down to where it should be, then they all went away. In fact, it was so bad that I called Rude and Riddle. I didn't know they were famous vets. I just found their number. And the guy was really nice to talk to me because I thought, oh, my horse has keratomas in his feet, you know. But anyway, that's what I think, you know.
Oh, I agree with you.
So if you look at her foot here, just a minute here, new share, just a second, new share. Okay, so you see how well, look at the growth rings. I mean, just the shape of the foot like this, you know, all of this anatomy is pulled down and pushing up under here. And then her toe, she's got a pretty steep dorsal wall, fairly, you know. So what's going on with the internal toe right there? And then when you look at this right here, this really says a lot to me too. The very short distance from right here to right here. I mean, this part of the capsule in this horse is just not expanding the way it's supposed to.
Yeah, it reminds me a lot of my horse.
Yeah, I mean, I see, and listen, I want to do another hoof chat about how what I've been doing with my horse to really release the back of his feet, and how I started going through old pictures of when I first thought that he was really getting a frog stay and stuff like that. And I came to the conclusion that what I was seeing was not the frog stay growing, but the frog stay unfolding. And yes, it was growing in the foot, but the whole back of the foot was unfolding. And what I have now is going on is quite a bit different than then. And I learned that one of the biggest problems these horses have is this deal right here. Let me show you, because my horse foot was still bound and I didn't even know it. Like you look at these pictures here, just a minute, new share. And I thought I was getting a really good foot because here, you know, the bars look sturdy. I haven't beveled the wall here or nothing. I was trimming. And then I had really good sole here in the heel platform. And I thought I had, I haven't beveled the foot. I thought I had, you know, I was getting good frog, and I thought this, that, and the other. And look, you look at the sole, pretty good sole in the heel platform, strong bars. Okay, well, I didn't know it, but my foot was still bound up, and that this was not the true frog stay. Okay, that, and so I started comparing pictures, and I noticed that sometimes my foot would expand, and then it would shrink up again, and then it would expand, and then it would shrink up again, and it depended on the moisture.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what's happening to me too. I don't have my
Okay,
frog stay yet, like you have. I saw some recent pictures of Valor, and you have some really nice frog stays in there.
well, there were some things I didn't understand that was going on right in here. Like, okay, this here, what I found is this periopal, because the periopal covers the whole bottom of the foot right here. Okay, and so when the heels get trimmed out and all this gets pulled in here, that periopal right here gets pulled in deep into the central sulcus, and then it holds everything right in there, and it's hidden and buried under there, and you don't even know it's there. And so let me show you a picture here, just a minute. So many things, so many things. Okay, we'll go down to spooling. Okay, let's see what I want to show you here. Okay, let's look at this first here. Okay, you see the bulbs on this horse here? Like here, you can really see it more than like on my horse, but you see how his bulb is
Wait,
going
we're
in
still
that
on
way?
Valor's pictures.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay, sorry about that.
Yeah.
Okay, you see this picture right here of this horse's foot? Now that's not this horse here. This is just an example. Okay, you see the bulbs here? You see how this is going in there? And there's kind of a crack there and there. Now on Valor, you don't see that crack because it's all folded in there nicely, you know, so that you don't know that what is really going on is the back of the foot, the bulbs have been pulled into the center and hidden under in the central sulcus. And then the periopal right here, it just all grows kind of over everything to kind of cover it up and disguise it. Okay, and what's really going on is what you see here. Okay, you see how this is pulled around like that and like that? See, that's not supposed to be like that. So look at here. Just a second here. This is what I call, well, for lack of a better term, it's like you had two spools right here, and as you were trimming the heels out, it was taking the back of the actual foot itself, and it was just kind of rolling it in here and then covering it up with the funky looking frog and periopal skin and binding it all in there, just real neat and tidy. Which there's some other things that need to be discussed too before somebody just goes and releases all that. Okay, because obviously it does that for a reason and a purpose. When a horse is wearing its heels out, or sometimes I guess maybe two, if the heels are collapsing forward, because you have to have some heel here that is actually well connected into the internal heel of the horse, so that this will all hold together and stuff while the back of this foot is being released. So, oh, just a minute here. Let me see if I can. Okay, so what it does, takes all this, the back of the foot right here. Okay, as the heels are, you need to have some heel connection here so that everything will hold together. Because what happens is, a lot of times this can get all flattened out, and in reality, you don't have much connection. And so this is what's happening. As the heels are being trimmed out and the capsule is making smaller, and you're getting that false foot looking thing going. Okay, this part of the foot, this is the bulb. This part of the foot is pulled in to here, like that. And so that, you know, it's made shorter, kind of like that. Now, this was Valor's foot a while back. Okay, when I found out that this periopal skin in here, you see how his bulb is being pulled into the center here? See that? Not supposed to be like that. This part right here is supposed to be clear over here, not sucked into the center of the foot and hidden under a bunch of garbage like that. But
Yeah.
that's what's going on. And so just a minute here. So this foot right here, okay, was a false foot. What I was seeing was not the reality of what. Now you don't see, there's a little teeny crack. You can see it right here. See it? Okay, and there's another one right here. All right, so my bulbs here are sucked in under the foot like that and hidden away in here. This is not anatomically correct. These are not supposed to be like that at all. And so this was not my true heel platform. Okay. Let's see here. Yeah, this was not the true foot as like what I thought I had. See, these feet have so many different false versions of themselves. And so I started removing this periopal right in the center here. All right. And soaking my feet and stuff like that. But I made sure I had some good true heel connection first before I did that. And what you saw over just a minute here, okay, is more headed towards the true foot. I was unbinding this. Okay, see these little lines here? That's periopal that has been pulled and sucked in to the center of the foot. Okay, see this? I got the same lines right here of what's going on there. So this was actually last year when I did this and stuff and really released that. The whole back of my foot expanded, things like that. So anyway, where's I going with that?
The false periopal and the false frog stage was where you were started with this conversation.
Thanks.
Yep.
I may need to go get some more coffee here. let's take a 5-10 minute break, okay? And then we'll come back and I'll finish up and look at another horse. And because I told somebody else I was going to look at a horse they had. Okay. Anyway. But looked pretty good for a bad foot, you know, didn't have the right foot. But anyway, these feet, for everything, there is a counterfeit, a number of counterfeits. See? So that's all I can tell you. Let's see here. New share. Let's go back to, where did I do that? Well, let's go here. Okay, so I'll show you something on this. You see this little piece of this foot right here? That is the back of the frog stay that should be up behind the foot instead of on the bottom. Because what happens, I'll show you what happens. So much for that break. Well, that was quick. Let's see, frog stay, LMNOPQR, frog. Okay, just a second here. I'll show you a picture. If I can find it. Okay, let's start right here. Share. Okay. What I just showed you, this is the frog stay. The frog stay and the frog, you have part of it that must be vertical right here in the back of the foot, high up in the back of the foot back here, and then coming down and underneath the foot. When you trim the heels out, okay, this part here, just a minute, let me move this thing. This part here that is up high in the back of the foot gets pulled down to where it's like this. You see that? Okay, and then that is when you get this deal here. Just a minute. Clear all drive. Just a second. Well, what did I do with that? You see this right here? It's under the foot. See, instead of frog stay being like this, well, that'd be the frog. And then high in the back of the foot, like that. Like if I was looking at the back of the foot, this would be clear up at the hairline right here. When the heels are trimmed out, or when the foot doesn't develop and the frog is not allowed to expand, then this part of the foot here gets pulled down like this. And that is what you got going on right here. And then if we go over to, let's see, here you can see it. See, this foot should be like this. And then that frog stay that's right, or the area where the frog stay should be, is clear down here. Should be clear up here. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So do you see why these feet deceive us so much?
Yes, they are very good at compensating for themselves.
Boy, they are, aren't they? And of course, it's all to help the horse survive, you know, but it can also get to a point where this is past the point of survival to where it's going to kill the horse. You know what I mean? Because
yeah, that definitely needs some help.
I mean, look at this,
Intravenous.
look at the capsule goes down like this. That's really the capsule. This is all bulb skin right there. Let me undo this. Let's see. Her capsule goes pretty much like that. Okay. This here, let's see. This here is bulb skin. Okay. See how the foot is expanding, but the capsule isn't? See, and of course the foot then too is bound under like that and stuff, because what it should be is this capsule should be like this. That should be the capsule. And then the bulbs, the foot itself should be like this. See there? Anyway, so once you got this little capsule and you got your bars that are holding the bars and everything are holding everything right here, those bars will hold your capsule right where it's at. That's why, you know, you got to find this balance and trimming them so that they're going to release the back of the foot and allow it to grow. Now, what happens is we weight this part of the foot. You got to allow this part to be weighted, the wall to grow and be weighted just right here. And then the growth comes in here and starts adding to the capsule and expanding it, ideally. Okay. Well, I think I'm burnt out and that's all I have for right now.
This was awesome. Thank you so much for doing these hoof chats.
Well, you're sure welcome, but does anybody have any questions? Do you want me to look at anything? Anything? We can do that too.
No, but I tell you what, I may post some pictures of my hoof, some updates, because if you may not remember it, but it was so similar to what it looked like on 3.6 right here. How far it was pulled down and under and even caving into the middle.
Yeah.
So I'll probably post some pictures of, I don't know when, but of my updated foot, because I'm still trying to grow in my frog stay.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I'll do a hoof chat this week just on the frog stay and what I've learned and kind of where my horse is at.
Yeah. I'm fixed to cry because my horse is doing so much better. It's just amazing.
That's great. I'm really glad to hear that.
Yeah.
And see, I'm seeing some things in the last 4 or 5 months that kind of changed the way I looked at the frog stay and stuff like that, like what I just showed you kind of. You know, when I went back and looked at older pictures where I thought I was getting this huge frog stay, it was in reality the foot unfolding. Yes, it was part of the frog stay, but it hadn't come to be the true anatomy yet. I'll show you a picture of what I have currently. You know, because these feet can stay in the same place for a long time. If you don't know where you're going, and of course I never did, right? I never knew where I was going from day one, other than I knew that the whole what?
You did know you were going to find the truth.
You know, so anyway, closer to it, but I'll show you what the back of my horse's foot looks like now, what I've been doing to release his foot. Because the thing is, though, if you're going to put boots on a horse, don't use those stupid easy boots that got the dial on the front. Those things will hurt your horse. They'll push the dorsal wall in. So you want to use something that's not going to be tight on the dorsal wall, because boy, I mean, I just come this side of messing my horse up with those stupid things. Just a second. Where am I going here? Search. Just a second. For some reason, my computer's messing up. There we go. Okay, hold on. Okay, let's see, new share. Okay. So if I were to show you the comparison pictures, they're really dramatic in how the back, this area right here is changed, and how the anatomy right in here has changed, and how much higher. Remember I was showing you the frog stay goes like this in the back of the foot. Like if we were to cut the foot in half and look, there'd be this big, huge chunk of frog, and then the frog goes under the foot like this, you know, something like that. Okay, so this high up in the foot back here, high up in the foot, see, clear up in here is that frog stay. And that's the vertical part of the frog right there. So I didn't have that in those one pictures like I thought. And sometimes I thought I had it and then it would seem to go away. Well, it was because the periopal was pulled in and under and would rebind the foot, because I never fully got all that anatomy back into place. But now it's all coming back into place. So I'll show you what the back of the foot looks like compared to that other. Just a minute. Where is it? Clear all drawings. Okay.
Is this a front hoof?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Now see, I still have some of this here that really isn't supposed to be there. And what I got going on now is the bulbs are not bound up as bad in the foot like they were. Like I showed you before, how they're pulled clear into here. Now what's happening is those bulbs are coming out, everything's being lifted up, and it's pulling the whole frog back and making the whole frog look completely different.
Those bulbs look beautiful.
Oh, good, thanks.
It's true. They almost look like Bert from Bert and Ernie's eyebrows when they go straight across.
And see, okay, so I showed you that one picture where I thought I was getting a good foot because I had all this really good sole in the heel platform, but it wasn't the true heel platform. It was still, my heels were still not in the right place. All of this frog and everything was pulled up into here. It was still a false foot. And so now we're just trying to get the true shape and form of the frog the way it's supposed to be. Anyway, that's kind of where he's at right now. But what I'm trying right now is I want all this pulled back where it's supposed to be, and then allow this all to grow in the right position. And it's changed the whole consistency of the frog and everything. Let me show you something here.
Well, yeah, that doesn't look like the bulbs are cutting off the circulation. Like it looks like there's more circulation in the bulbs, in the frogs now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, there is. And they changed color.
Yeah.
See, the color is totally different. And just a lot of change. The way he walks changed. He just stands different. Yeah, just a lot of changes. let me put this up next to this 1 foot here. Let's see.
These changes, Linda, are really exciting to see. It's hopeful. It's so nice.
It is for me. I'm gonna put these as a comparison. Hold on. Just a second here. Well, just a second. And I will take, in a second, I'm going to take a picture of this so you can see them side by side. Hold on. Now, again, see, no, just a second here. Again, remember here, as you look, that the heels, the sole in the heels and the bars are not completed yet and are not fully healed to where they're going to grow in to be like the sole on the false foot that I thought was so good and looked better. So okay, so this was 2019 when I thought I was in the right place and doing right. Okay, and you can see I thought I had good bars, good frog, good sole here in the sole platform, right in here. See, but this was all bound up in here and in that way where it shouldn't have been. See that going in like that? And then bound by this thick periopal skin here into the center of the foot. Now it's more released. And so you see I'm a little hollow here in the sole platform of the heel, but that will get better. Because what's happened is my foot is bigger. The heels have come back. My whole capsule is bigger. And so it's uncovered a lot of the sole corium that was covered over by these heels here. And so the frog is longer. The bulbs are different. I don't know how to explain it. Look at the bulbs here. See, they now kind of go kind of like this instead of being pulled in like that. See? So, I mean, anyway, that's just where I'm at. So, okay. Okay, so I told this one gal that I would do an evaluation on her horse, but it might have to wait till tomorrow. So is there anything else that anybody wants to talk about, or that anything that I need, any questions, or if I can answer them, I will.
This was awesome. I'm so glad you're doing these again. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Okay,
Hello
well,
from Tiffany.
We can, oh, thank you, dear. We can do another one next week. I'll post a deal on it. So, and I'll get a hold of whoever it was I was going to do that. Was it you, Marcia? Are you still there?
Yep, still here. Yeah, it was, but that's okay. I know it takes a long time to go through all this, but this was educational and interesting. I just really need to kind of figure out how to address the one-sided low heel in the back of his
Okay,
foot.
well, let's go ahead and look at that then. All right. Let's see.
Basically, just his back left, his back lateral heel, he wore it off for some reason or other. And now I have this big flare, and I just need to know, like, how do I balance that foot so that he doesn't put that pressure on that back foot? Like, how am I going to grow that little bit of heel in without filing down the other one?
Yeah, and see, you're really lucky because this horse just has a lot of potential and you're going to be able to do really well with him. I'm looking at this picture now. Let me do a new share.
Okay.
Okay. He's got great cartilages and stuff. They haven't been totally annihilated and pulled down and rounded out into the bottom of the foot. And
But
so
you see how that lateral one is a lot lower than the medial one?
yeah. Now you see, let's see. Is this the foot right here?
Yep, that's it.
Okay. Okay. And so which
You
heel
wore that
is it?
heel right off for some reason or other. I don't know why.
This heel here.
Yep.
Is this what it looks like? Right here?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what happens here is, okay, let's see. Well, let me look at all of them here. So this is the medial view, and you're saying he wore his medial heel out?
He wore the lateral side out.
The lateral side. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
See how
I
it's-
see.
Yeah, it's low there.
Hmm.
So I'm just wondering how do I go about correcting that? Like I'm going to try to file the flare out a little bit and make it a little release the side of the lateral heel just near the quarters
Mhm.
where you see the red, that it looks like blood there. That's why I wondered, why is there blood there? But then I realized his heel is really low and he's been putting pressure on that side.
Yeah. Well, another thing is that, okay, you know how I say that the wall will often take the sole with it?
Yep.
Okay, well, that's what it's doing in your toe right there.
Oh,
Okay. So there's a lot of pressure coming in the toe, and then see how you haven't been able to see, you haven't rasped the toe down at all. Okay, and so now the walls are getting too long here, and so there's pressure on the lamina, and that's where that's coming from, because it's real porous, that lamina, and down through there. And so you've got some pressure on the toe, and if you look at the side of the side view, see down here, there's just some different things going on, like because this heel is more trimmed out probably than the other one, you know, or not repairing as quickly. And another thing too is it's got more of an angle growing forward. You see, you're getting a crack right there, just like I have on my front foot right there. And what it is all these horn tubules, see, are pushing forward this way, and they finally got right to there and decided they weren't going anywhere.
okay.
In other words, these ones said, no, you're not pushing us around. And they said, well, we'll just pass you then.
So
Like,
if it's where his hoof is white there, if I were to bevel right there, would that help it?
no, I don't think so. See, some things that need to happen here are that you need to find the true apex of the frog, and the frog needs to be trimmed up, and especially in the central sulcus more.
Okay.
So you start getting more live frog and stuff. Your bars, let's see, this lateral heel. I mean, technically you've still got some decent heel there, even though maybe it's the other side of the tie. you know? I
I
don't
think
think that side does not, this was 2 inches, right?
yeah, from the hairline.
Yeah. 2 inches from the hairline, and this was 1 3/4.
Yeah. Yeah, about that. Yeah.
Okay, and this heel is trimmed out a little more. And so when that happens, a lot of times those heels will push forward, which it is, and then you'll get that flare, which is really a bulge,
Yeah.
you know. Um,
So do I lower the other heel to level it, to take the pressure off? I just wanted to be able to show you kind
okay,
of get a better view.
now, yeah, see, now I'm seeing more. I'm not going to jump in there and say right away, do this or that till I really look at it more, because because I didn't really get a chance to look at stuff
Yeah.
before we started this, so I just can't do that. I can't just go,
Okay.
yeah, do this,
All right. That video it's like 20 seconds. It'll roll around and show you the bottom of the foot.
Okay. Now this tells me a lot here.
Okay.
That crack, and this tells me a lot that this side is trimmed out more. Okay. And forward. So, yeah, I would lower the other side,
Okay.
because that's going to balance his weight out more, so that this heel can not be so weighted and wearing out more.
And where the flare is, should I bevel that wall there?
Well, I don't know about that, because really what needs to happen is more of this wall needs to grow in right here. And so that's really what you're doing, because it's not really a flare, it's a bulge. Because, okay, so the back of the foot here is supposed to have a big chunk of heel buttress and a whole bunch more wall in here. Okay, and so that supports it. And so when that heel buttress is trimmed out and like the other side is higher, okay, so it's shoving all the weight over here, and then it's shoving this wall forward. Okay, and so then it's bulging outward. So it's not a normal flare. Like to me, a flare is where the wall gets too long and then starts getting pulled away.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's not what this is. You see how these horn tubules are forced forward?
Yeah.
Like that. Okay. So this is bulging, being pushed out. It's being pushed out because the other side is higher and throwing weight over here. And also because it doesn't have the support and wall it's supposed to have to begin with, so that this side's weaker right here and pushing forward. I mean, a lot of things are going on because, when they trim the heels out, or we trim them out because we were taught to, or whatever, puts all these horn tubules at a lower angle, shoving and forcing forward. See, as well, pulling this side of the foot down and forcing it under there. So what I started doing, because I have this kind of foot on all 4 feet, and stuff. And so what I started doing was lowering the other side to compensate for the side that was really run forward and bulging out. Like you can see, he's wider.
Yeah.
Over here. Yeah, I had that like on my front feet really bad, and everything like that, because ultimately with my eyesight, that's why we use the protractor and the measurements and all that. With my eyesight, I was trimming one heel out on all 4 feet more. And so that heel got weaker and further forward, and then the side of the foot got pushed out that way.
Yeah, I never filed the heels. I never touched them. And he used to have really even heels in the back. And that's why I'm surprised at like what happened. Maybe I put him off balance in the front somehow that made him lean more to that side. I don't know, but he just tended to wear that back lateral heel out.
Yeah.
But also, Linda, isn't this picture slightly askew? So the lines are slightly askew?
Oh, he was moving. So when I was trying to put the lines, like they're really crooked.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not looking at the lines though. I'm just looking at
It could be a little
his
off.
heel here,
Yeah.
you know. Well, look, see the wideness of the bulb?
Yeah.
How that bulb is wider than this side. Okay. And look at how the frog is pulled over that way. So this heel has been trimmed out, not or worn out.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, if you weren't measuring, when did you start measuring the heels like this?
Usually when I go to trim him, I measure them, but the last time he's just been so uncooperative. I just kind of lightly filed his toes off a little bit and
Okay.
And trimmed the bars up a little bit
Mhm.
and
Well-
and a little bit of the frog.
Okay.
Their
Well,
feet get so packed with ice in the winter here that they're actually walking on balls of ice. Their hooves aren't even
Oh,
touching the
yeah.
ground.
Well, see, you can look at this side and tell that you don't trim this side as much as this side, or he doesn't wear it as much as
Yeah.
this side. And it's probably a combination of both. And so when you look at where it is, just a minute here. I want where he's standing. You can see him standing.
Those are the
That's
front
the
feet.
front.
You have to go the other way. Yeah.
Okay.
Back. More.
Right there. I
Yeah.
mean, you can really tell that this side's higher.
Yeah.
See, this side's trimmed out more. But this side is higher. And so yeah, I would just lower this 1/4 of an inch at least,
Okay.
you know. And that's going to help distribute his weight more evenly so that he's not wearing this heel out more.
Okay.
Because see, look how he's leaning
Yeah.
over that way.
I see that. And what about the toe issue? You said that the sole is kind of attached to it. What do I do to release that? Do I take a little bit of the sole off the edge of the toe?
Yeah. Do you know what scribing is?
Well, not really, but
Okay. Okay. First, that's just where you take the hook of your knife and it's like you're just trimming a
Oh, yeah.
thin layer out
okay.
right
Yep.
there. And
Yep.
like defining the white line right there and
Okay.
stuff. But the one thing you need to do here is really trim down the apex of this frog and find out where does it blend in with the sole. So
Okay.
because otherwise I bet it's more back around here.
Oh, really? I thought I kind of got it there, but maybe
Yeah.
not.
No, let me show you what it looks like here. Let's see here. Maybe I have one here. I'll show you a couple different ones.
Okay.
Just a minute here. New share. Okay, you see this right here?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, it'll be a seamless blend. If anything, sometimes you'll see a little kind of white ring right there.
Okay.
Okay, let me show you another one. I can find one. Just a second. Okay. This looks a little weird, but because on this foot, I took a grinder and just kind of lightly sanded stuff off, but it's kind of a mess, but you can kind of see it anyway. Wait a minute. New share. Okay. Okay, you see right there?
Yeah.
See, it's seamless
Okay.
right in there. And that way you're going to make sure that you're getting the true apex of the frog measurement.
Okay.
Otherwise your frog here can keep growing high and laying over the sole right here. And then it chokes the sole out. And then if it gets up to a fourth or a little more and it's laying over the sole, then your measurement's going to be off.
Right.
And so then your toe gets a little too long, and then that becomes a lever, and then it just keeps kind of pulling it forward, and it'll pull all your horn tubules on the side forward, and like everything affects everything else, you know.
Yep.
Let's see here. Where was it? Okay, so I would define that, and I would take some of this down here and some of that toe down
Okay.
here, but it starts right here. And getting this whole frog to growing, and look here, see, you have a tendency to trim this bar more than that bar. Do you see it?
Okay. Yeah.
So also mapping the bars, you know,
Yeah, I
what
forgot to
you
do it that time.
oh,
I realized it
okay.
after. I said, oh, I forgot to map the bars.
That's okay. And so now you know that this heel is more trimmed out. And so you need to allow the growth right here to go. Now your growth will get better once you take this whole side down here.
Okay.
Okay. Because you're going to have to take, from here down in a, well, you know, a slice, you know, like, you know, less here, but a little bit more as you go here. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Less at the toe and more in the back?
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
because you're going to take off about a fourth of an inch over here.
Yeah. Right.
Okay. So you probably wouldn't take a fourth of an inch here, right?
Right.
Okay. So it'd be like you know,
Yeah. Taper it.
a slice.
Yeah.
like so.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay.
And so yeah. Now, do you have a protractor?
I do.
Okay. Okay, so you'd want to look at this side of the toe, and then you look at this side of the toe, and you see you have a tendency to leave this side high
Okay.
over here because it's not the same shape as this side. And the thing is that we do tend to be stronger on one side than the other and stuff. So even if you're not meaning to, okay, you can still trim one side more than the other. See, and so that creates an imbalance. It'll make stuff grow weird as well. And so you want to weight this much of this foot over here so that it'll start adding capsule in up here. And eventually, like if we were to take this probably and straighten it all out the way it really is, we would really see more of how this heel, I say trimmed out, but it could have happened to being worn out over a period of time from the imbalance you got here.
Yeah.
See? So yeah, if you take off this much and then take off some of that bar, you see how that's gonna
Balance the pressure.
yeah. Yeah. And then, you know, take off this side here. Take all this side down more. If we went and look, we're gonna see that this side it's probably higher. Let's see, clear all drawings. Let me get rid of that. Let me look at, okay, so this is the lateral side. That's the medial side. It's the lateral. That's the front. Let's go back this way. Okay, so see your medial view, how much wall you have in here. See how you can, you're going to take out, let's see. Let me annotate. Okay. So you're going to about like so.
Okay.
See?
But my concern always is that there's not that much hoof wall sticking out over the edge. So I'm going to be filing into the sole.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
that's okay.
All right. I was never sure of that.
Yeah, I know everybody is like that, and I was like that too, but you have to learn how to manage the sole. Because once you start getting hills and you start getting that sole ridge, you know, and so stuff that's going to go on here is you could actually do a pretty good bevel right in here, because you see your horn tubules, how they're kind of pushing up. You see how you're kind of you're jammed up a little there,
Okay.
So these horn tubules will come back a little more, and this jamming will come out of the wall here. So kind of pay attention to this area here.
Okay.
It's getting too high, and realize that you have a tendency, and I do too, in all my feet, to let this side get higher and jammed. Because I'm kind of the same way. I get leery rasping into the sole sometimes, but I'm seeing more and more and more. You just got to manage that sole, and yeah. Anyway.
Okay. I will do that. And thank you. I don't want to keep you all day. It's been a long chat for you. You've done a lot of work, and I will do that and take some more pictures and see what I've
Okay,
got.
yeah. Do, and look, you have a lot to work with. 3.5 inches.
Yeah, he
You know,
with that.
and then how long is this one here?
That was 3.25.
See, oh, so that's about right, and stuff. So that's good there, and stuff. But you have 3.5 inches, so you have a lot of sole to work with. You have a good 1/4 of an inch.
Oh, okay, good.
See, so you're doing good, and these are going to be excellent feet.
Oh, hopefully, if I can learn.
Yeah, you will. You will. And I'll sure help you all I can.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Okay. All right. Well, all right. Well, everybody have a great week. And I'll do this again next week, and I'll try and get it together to get all my pictures together to show you. Like I did share one thing on there with Holly's horse, how finally the whole back of her frog just exploded. Well, you can imagine if the whole back of the foot is bound up there forever, and finally it gets enough growth and enough moisture that part of the anatomy releases. Yeah, it looks like something exploded out the back of the foot, but it's like a good thing,
Good.
So, all right, gals. Well, everybody have a great day. I hope this recorded up to this point. We'll see.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Linda. Thank you for your time and all of your knowledge and experience. That's great.
Okay, well, you're sure welcome. Hey, everybody have a great day.
You
Bye-bye.
too. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
I just need to figure out how to get out of here. I'm trapped in E-land. Let's see. Clear all drawings. Clear that. Let's see. Stop share. Let's